The galaxy was unusually quiet. Stars sparkled in the distance, but the silence was deeper than anyone could remember. No transmissions, no signals, nothing moved where it usually did. Even the normally busy space lanes were empty. For the alien empires, this calm was unusual. Too unusual. In the far reaches of the outer rim, alien fleets drifted silently, their massive warships patrolling as if expecting something, yet not knowing what. Each ship was armed with weapons designed to destroy entire planets, and yet something about the stillness made even the most confident captains uneasy. Then, without warning, all communication networks went dead. Messages between fleets stopped mid-transmission. Orders from command centers failed to reach warships. For the first time in history, alien admirals and generals experienced complete silence from their satellites, their probes, and their long-range communication arrays. Panic began to creep into their minds. On dozens of planets, alien leaders stared at the same message that appeared suddenly on every screen, etched in bright red letters. Humanity Prime's Atlas carrier detected in your sector. The word spread through the galaxy like wildfire. At first the aliens laughed. Surely this was a joke. A single human carrier against their full armada? Impossible. Humans were considered primitive in technology, slow to advance, and isolated on a small blue planet far from the main trade routes of the galaxy. No one could have imagined humans building something powerful enough to challenge them. But laughter faded quickly when the long-range sensors began to pick up an anomaly. Something massive, moving faster than any known ship, was coming from deep space. Its energy signature was unique, unlike anything the aliens had cataloged before. It was powerful, almost glowing, and it moved with purpose. In the command rooms of the alien fleets, alarms started ringing. Screens lit up with images of the approaching object. Officers whispered in fear, exchanging nervous glances. "Is that one ship?" asked a young officer, his voice trembling. "How can one ship be so big?" The alien generals tried to maintain control. They barked orders, mobilizing their fleets, calling for reinforcements. But the silence from their communication networks made it impossible to coordinate. Every ship was now acting on limited information, relying on instinct and old strategies. But nothing in their history prepared them for this. From the dark edge of the sector, the Atlas carrier appeared. Even from millions of kilometers away, its silhouette was intimidating. It was larger than any alien battleship, longer than entire cruisers lined up end to end. Its hull was sleek, metallic, and seemed to shimmer under the light of distant stars. Blue energy lines ran across its surface, pulsing rhythmically, like the heartbeat of a living machine. Alien scouts sent to investigate vanished without a trace. One moment the scout ships were transmitting images of the carrier, and the next there was nothing. Not a trace of metal debris, not even a distress signal. The silence that followed was worse than any explosion. It carried the weight of fear. Within the alien fleets, panic grew. Generals tried to remain calm, but even they could not hide the anxiety in their eyes. Messages were sent frantically to the central command, but with the networks down, no response came. Rumors spread quickly. Some claimed the humans had discovered a secret weapon. Others whispered that the carrier was not just a ship, but a mobile fortress capable of destroying entire fleets alone. And then the Atlas carrier moved closer. It glided across space like a shadow, faster than anyone could track accurately. Its presence was overwhelming. Alien warships, massive and armed with hundreds of weapons, seemed small and fragile in comparison. Even the most confident admirals felt a chill run through their bones. In one command room, a veteran general slammed his clawed hand on the table. "This is impossible. One human ship cannot." His voice cut off as the carrier's energy signature registered on the sensors. Every measurement confirmed it. The humans were unlike anything they had ever seen. Even the oldest records of interstellar warfare failed to prepare them. Every battle plan, every tactic, every strategy that had once ensured victory now seemed useless. They were facing a new kind of enemy, one that did not rely on numbers alone, but on intelligence, speed, and power beyond imagination. Outside, the stars glimmered calmly as if unaware of the terror below. But inside the fleets, chaos reigned. Officers shouted, alarms blared, and yet no one could figure out how to stop what was coming. The silence of the galaxy was now broken, but only by the fear that had settled in every alien heart. The Atlas carrier continued to approach, unchallenged, unstoppable. And in that moment, one thought spread among all alien minds, unspoken but universal. No alien had ever imagined what was coming. The calm before the storm was over. Humanity Prime had arrived. and everything in the galaxy was about to change. The stars stretched endlessly across the black canvas of space. In the distance, alien fleets moved in disarray, trying to regroup after the terrifying news of the approaching human ship. Every officer on board felt a weight in their chest they had never felt before. The Atlas carrier was not just another human vessel. It was an unprecedented force, and it was closing in. The alien admirals stared at their screens, their eyes widening. Sensors could barely keep up with the speed of the approaching ship. Its massive hull glinted faintly in the distant starlight, and energy pulses ran across its surface like the lifeblood of some unstoppable creature. Every measurement indicated a ship far larger and more advanced than anything they had ever seen. On the command bridge of the flagship Cytherian, General Vrax, a veteran of countless interstellar battles, slammed his clawed hand on the console. "Activate all long-range scanners. Track that ship. I want to know everything about it." Officers scrambled. Reports flashed across the hollow screens, but even their most powerful instruments struggled to decode the energy signature. "General, it's massive, faster than our sensors can measure. It's unlike anything in our database," stammered Lieutenant Krev, his three eyes wide with shock. Meanwhile, the Atlas carrier moved closer with a calm, deliberate pace. Its engines glowed blue, leaving faint trails of light across the emptiness of space. Alien scouts tried to get closer for a better reading, but every ship sent to observe was destroyed silently. No explosion, no debris, just gone. Panic spread quickly among the alien ranks. In the bridge of the Atlas carrier, the crew moved with precision. Every action was synchronized, every system running flawlessly. Humans were few, but their machines were countless, each drone and automated weapon a part of a perfect living network. The carrier did not just move, it calculated, it predicted, it executed. Back in the alien fleets, alarms blared. The once confident admirals began giving contradictory orders, confusion spreading like wildfire. "Form a wedge formation." "No, scatter." "Evade," shouted one commander, but no formation held. Ships collided as panic spread. Inexperienced officers made mistakes that seasoned generals had never imagined. The Atlas carrier approached the edge of the battlefield. Its silhouette stretched across sensors like a shadow of doom. Every alien ship in range could feel its presence, even through the cold vacuum of space. The hull of the carrier was unlike anything built before. Sleek, angular surfaces reflected starlight in a way that made the ship appear larger than it actually was. Energy shields shimmered faintly across its body, protective barriers designed to repel the heaviest of attacks. Alien captains tried to mount a counterattack. Missiles were fired, beams of energy cut through space, but the Atlas carrier moved faster than they could track, and its shields absorbed the attacks with ease. Not a single human crew member even flinched. From their perspective, the humans were untouchable, ghosts among the stars. In one of the alien command rooms, General Vrax clenched his teeth. "All fleets focus fire. Target the carrier's engines," he ordered. But the fleet was already disorganized. Some ships ignored the order, some fired at empty space, and others retreated instinctively. Fear had paralyzed even the strongest of alien warriors. The Atlas carrier launched its first wave of fighters. Small, agile craft, armed with plasma cannons, swarmed the alien fleets in perfect formation. Each fighter moved like part of a single mind, executing maneuvers that no alien ship could predict. In seconds, alien patrol ships were disabled. Energy shields failed, engines exploded, and the survivors fled in panic. Even the most battle-hardened admirals realized they were facing not just a ship, but a new kind of warfare. The Atlas carrier did not rely on brute force alone. It combined intelligence, precision, and speed in a way that made traditional strategies obsolete. For the first time in history, alien fleets felt vulnerable, exposed, and weak. As the carrier continued to advance, its full size became visible on the sensors. Multiple levels of decks stretched across its length, each bristling with weapons, drones, and turrets. Automated defense systems hummed quietly, ready to respond to any threat. Alien captains stared at the readings, their hands trembling. The human crew on the bridge of the Atlas carrier remained calm. Their captain, a woman with a quiet, commanding presence, observed the alien fleets through her monitor. "Keep formation," she said, her voice steady. "We will show them why humanity does not yield. Not today. Not ever." And then, the first human drones detached from the carrier, moving silently toward the alien fleets. The blue energy of their engines left streaks across the void, and every ship they approached fell under precise, calculated strikes. Alien warships exploded in flashes of fire and metal, sending debris scattering into the darkness. In the alien command centers, chaos reigned. Generals barked orders, but their fleets were already collapsing under the combined power of human precision and advanced technology. Fear had taken over. The galaxy was witnessing a force it had never imagined. The Atlas carrier continued to glide forward, unstoppable, unyielding, and indifferent to the panic around it. Every alien who saw it knew one thing with certainty: the humans had arrived and the battlefield would never be the same. Book for Part 3. The first attack had begun and alien fleets were crumbling. But what humans had prepared next was beyond imagination. A strike so precise it would change the course of the war forever. The alien fleets were still reeling from the sudden appearance of the Atlas carrier. Panic had taken root in every command center. Generals barked orders trying to regain control, but their fleets were scattered, confused, and terrified. They had never faced an enemy like this. Never. The Atlas carrier moved calmly through the battlefield, its engines glowing faintly blue, leaving streaks of light across the dark void. From its massive hull, smaller craft began to deploy, sleek fighter drones faster than any alien ships, armed with plasma cannons and precision torpedoes. They moved in perfect formation, like a swarm of deadly insects controlled by a single mind. From a distance, the alien admirals watched in disbelief as the first human strike wave approached. The drones did not attack randomly. Each ship had a target and each attack was calculated. Enemy shields were penetrated in seconds, energy beams cutting through metal hulls like a knife through cloth. Alien cruisers exploded silently, and smaller ships were disabled almost instantly. "Focus fire on the human carriers," shouted one admiral, his voice trembling. But the orders came too late. The drones had already taken control of the battle, moving faster than the aliens could react. Every attack was coordinated, every strike precise. No alien ship could survive the first wave. On board the Atlas carrier, the crew worked in perfect harmony. Every sensor, every targeting system, every weapon was connected to a central command network. The human captain watched the battlefield, calm and composed. "Maintain formation," she ordered. "Let them see the precision of humanity." Alien ships tried to retaliate. Energy beams and missiles fired at the incoming drones, but most missed. Those that hit were absorbed by shields stronger than anything the aliens had expected. Some drones even split into multiple units, avoiding attacks effortlessly. Every time an alien weapon fired, the humans adapted instantly. The battlefield was no longer controlled by the aliens, it was the humans who dictated every move. As the drones reached the alien mainline, the Atlas carrier launched a second wave, larger, more powerful, armed with long-range railguns and quantum torpedoes. These weapons had never been seen before by alien scouts. The torpedoes traveled faster than light for short bursts, reaching targets before the enemy even knew they were coming. When they hit, entire sections of alien cruisers were obliterated in a single strike. The alien admirals could only watch in horror. How is this possible?" one muttered. Even their most advanced fleets, which had destroyed thousands of human scouts in the past, were now falling before a single ship. Fear replaced every strategy, every plan, every hope. On the battlefield, small alien ships tried to flee. Some even turned toward the outer rim, hoping to escape. But the human drones were everywhere. Swarming, relentless, precise. No ship could escape the reach of the Atlas carrier. One by one, cruisers and destroyers were disabled. Engines exploded, weapons malfunctioned, and communications went silent. Even the massive alien dreadnoughts, thought to be unstoppable, were not safe. Human precision torpedoes struck their weak points, and railgun shots ripped holes through armored hulls. The aliens had always believed in the superiority of numbers and firepower. But now all their assumptions were wrong. One ship, one human ship, had destroyed their first line of defense with ease. The human fighters moved in waves, constantly adapting to every alien maneuver. No formation was safe. No strategy could work. Every counterattack was met with a precise human response, often faster than the aliens could even understand. For the first time, fear dominated the minds of entire alien fleets. They were witnessing a new kind of war, one they had no experience to fight. From the Atlas carrier's bridge, the human captain observed the destruction calmly. Her eyes scanned the battlefield, noting every detail. "Keep pressure," she said. "We are not done. Show them the true strength of humanity." And then the carrier activated its most feared weapon, the plasma cannons. Giant beams of concentrated energy fired from the ship, striking multiple alien ships at once. The beams cut through entire cruisers, leaving nothing behind but twisted metal and smoke. The explosions were silent in the vacuum of space, but their effect was catastrophic. Alien fleets that had once believed themselves invincible were now nothing more than debris. Inside alien command centers, officers were screaming in panic. Retreat! Retreat! Orders rang out, but there was no coordination. Some ships fled, others tried to regroup, but the humans anticipated every move. Every escape route had been accounted for, every weakness exploited. By the end of the first strike, the battlefield was unrecognizable. Alien fleets were scattered, their numbers drastically reduced. The few survivors floated in shock, unable to comprehend the devastation. Humanity Prime had shown them something they could not have imagined. One human ship, with the right technology and strategy, could defeat an entire fleet. The Atlas carrier continued to glide forward, its drones ready for the next wave. The humans were not celebrating, not yet. This was only the beginning. Their precision, intelligence, and firepower had given them the first victory, but the war was far from over. The aliens would regroup, they would fight back. But by then humanity would already be one step ahead. Hook for Part 4. The first strike had shattered the enemy's confidence, but the humans had more surprises waiting. The alien fleets had underestimated human strategy and intelligence, and that mistake would cost them even more than they could imagine. The alien fleets were in chaos. Their first line of defense had been destroyed in minutes, and fear had replaced every plan they had. Ships drifted aimlessly in space, engines smoking, weapons offline. Admirals shouted orders, but no one could coordinate the scattered fleets. The humans had not just attacked, they had rewritten the rules of warfare. From the bridge of the Atlas carrier, the human captain watched silently, her eyes calm and calculating. She did not need to shout orders. Every weapon, every drone, every strike pod was already working in perfect harmony. Humans had trained for this, not just to fight but to outthink, outmaneuver, and outsmart their enemy. The humans began their next phase. Small, cloaked drones slipped past the remaining alien fleets. These drones were invisible to conventional sensors, silent and deadly. They infiltrated the alien communication networks, sabotaging control centers and jamming long-range signals. Within minutes, alien ships could no longer communicate with one another. Orders were ignored, weapons misfired, and panic spread faster than the humans could strike. In one alien flagship, the general slammed his claws on the table. Our communications are down. We cannot coordinate. How is this possible? Officers scrambled to restore contact, but it was useless. Every attempt failed. The humans had anticipated every strategy, every backup, every contingency. Meanwhile, the Atlas carrier continued to move forward. Its massive hull gleamed under distant starlight, and automated strike pods launched from hidden hangars. These pods moved with terrifying precision, striking multiple alien cruisers at once. In one strike, entire squadrons were disabled, their weapons offline, engines destroyed, and crews stunned by the sudden devastation. Alien ships tried to regroup, forming small formations to defend themselves. But humans were always one step ahead. Advanced AI targeting systems predicted enemy movements, and drones adjusted their trajectories mid-flight to strike where the aliens were weakest. No alien formation could survive the human assault. In the outer rim, a fleet of alien destroyers attempted a counterattack. Their energy beams cut through space, aiming for the Atlas carrier's hull. But the humans had anticipated this. The carrier shifted, moving faster than sensors could track, its shields absorbing the impact. At the same time, human railguns fired long-range projectiles with deadly accuracy, striking the alien destroyers before they could fire again. The aliens realized with growing horror that the humans were not only strong, they were intelligent. Every attack was carefully calculated. Every move was precise. Every decision was part of a larger strategy. The aliens had relied on numbers and firepower for centuries, but against humans, those advantages meant nothing. Even the elite alien admirals, veterans of countless wars, could not understand the humans' genius. They had studied human history, underestimated their technology, and dismissed their small, isolated planet as insignificant. Now they watched as humans used superior strategy to dismantle fleets 10 times their size. From the Atlas carrier, the humans launched their final wave of the battle. This time it was not just about weapons. It was about deception. Holographic decoys appeared across the battlefield, confusing alien targeting systems. While the aliens fired at illusions, real human strike pods moved silently toward their true targets. Entire squadrons vanished before anyone could understand what had happened. The alien fleets were collapsing. Some ships attempted retreat, but their routes were already blocked by humans anticipating their escape. Others tried to regroup, forming defensive lines that were immediately broken by calculated human attacks. Within minutes, the battlefield was under complete human control. In the chaos, alien officers began blaming one another. Commands were ignored, alliances between ships broke down, and morale fell to zero. The humans had done more than destroy ships. They had shattered the aliens' confidence and sense of control. On the Atlas carrier, the captain observed the destruction with quiet satisfaction. "We have demonstrated strength," she said to her crew. "But more importantly, we have shown them intelligence and precision. This is how humanity wins, not just by fighting but by thinking ahead." As the last of the alien resistance faded from the area, silence returned to space. But this was not the calm of peace, it was the calm of total dominance. The humans had proven that intelligence, strategy, and coordination could defeat even the most powerful fleets. The galaxy would remember this day. Yet even as the aliens retreated, the humans knew this was not the end. They had shown their brilliance, but the enemy would return, stronger and more determined. The humans had to prepare for the next stage of the battle, where cunning, precision, and genius would be tested again. Suspense hook for Part 5. The aliens were regrouping, preparing their most powerful fleet. But the humans had a secret weapon hidden until the perfect moment. When it was revealed, the galaxy would witness power beyond imagination. The alien fleets were shaken, but they were far from defeated. Across the galaxy, commanders were receiving emergency reports. Entire squadrons had been wiped out, communication networks sabotaged, and warships destroyed with terrifying precision. Yet the aliens were determined. They had faced countless enemies before and survived. They would not bow to humanity. General Vrax, the veteran alien admiral, stared at the reports in disbelief. "These humans, one ship, one carrier, has done this to my fleets?" he growled. His claws clenched and his eyes burned with fury. "Prepare the main fleet. Bring in everything. This ends now." Across the battlefield, massive alien dreadnoughts moved forward, bristling with weapons designed to annihilate anything in their path. Energy cannons charged, missiles locked onto targets, and fleets formed perfect formations. It was a display of raw power, an overwhelming force meant to crush the human ship in seconds. But the humans were ready. From the bridge of the Atlas carrier, the captain observed the incoming fleet calmly. "They think they can overwhelm us with numbers," she said. "Let them try." Every system on the carrier hummed with life, the blue energy of its shields pulsing rhythmically. Humans had anticipated this moment. The first strike had been a warning. This was the real test. The Atlas carrier began deploying its hidden weapons. Long-range plasma cannons extended from the ship's hull, their barrels glowing with energy hotter than any alien lasers. Quantum torpedoes, capable of detonating entire ship sections, were loaded into launch bays. Automated strike pods detached silently, moving into position with precision that made the alien fleet seem clumsy in comparison. The alien dreadnoughts opened fire. Their beams of energy lanced across space, aiming directly for the Atlas carrier. For a moment, it seemed the humans might be overwhelmed. But then the carrier's shields flared, absorbing the attacks effortlessly. Every cannon blast that struck the hull was redirected, dissipated, or blocked. Not a single human crew member flinched. Then the humans struck. Plasma cannons fired, sending concentrated beams of energy ripping through the leading alien ships. The first dreadnoughts were struck in their weakest points: engines, control centers, and weapon arrays. They erupted in fire and metal, exploding silently across the void of space. Alien ships tried to respond, but the humans were already predicting their moves. Quantum torpedoes detonated near the heart of the enemy formations. Entire clusters of alien cruisers vanished in flashes of light. The alien fleet's perfectly formed lines broke apart under the unexpected precision and power of the human weapons. Chaos replaced strategy. On board the Atlas carrier, the crew moved in flawless synchronization. Every strike pod, every drone, every cannon, was controlled by a central system that analyzed alien movements in real time. Humans were not relying on brute force alone. They were calculating, predicting, and adapting faster than any alien mind could comprehend. Alien admirals screamed orders, but their fleets were already disorganized beyond repair. Ships collided, weapons misfired, and engines failed. Panic spread as the realization sank in. Numbers alone could not win this battle. The humans were always one step ahead. Even the most advanced alien battleships, armed with devastating weaponry, were falling. Railguns fired from the Atlas carrier, striking key points with surgical precision. Alien cruisers exploded, some in multiple sections at once, leaving survivors drifting helplessly in space. The battlefield was a scene of destruction, yet not a single human ship had been lost. And then came the final surprise. The humans unveiled their secret weapon, cloaked strike drones equipped with high-yield plasma warheads. They emerged from stealth positions in perfect timing, hitting command ships in the alien fleet. Explosions tore through alien bridges, cutting off coordination entirely. Without leaders to guide them, the alien fleets descended into chaos. General Vrax could do nothing. His flagship shuddered as a human railgun tore through the hull, damaging the engines and killing hundreds of crew members instantly. Around him, the remaining fleets were crumbling, unable to mount any effective defense. The humans had not only destroyed ships, they had destroyed morale, command, and hope. As the dust of explosions cleared, the Atlas carrier continued its advance. Its shields glimmered blue, its weapons still ready. Human drones patrolled the battlefield like silent predators, finishing off stragglers. The aliens had tried to turn the tide with sheer force, but the humans had anticipated every move, countered every attack, and emerged stronger than ever. In the aftermath, silence returned, not the silence of peace but the silence of complete dominance. Alien fleets were scattered, their numbers decimated. Their leaders were forced to retreat, humiliated and broken. The humans had shown the galaxy that intelligence, precision, and strategy were more powerful than raw numbers and size. From the bridge of the Atlas carrier, the captain looked at the battlefield. "This is only the beginning," she said quietly. "We've proven what humanity can do. But the galaxy still doesn't know the full extent of our strength." Book for Part 6. The aliens would return, stronger than before. But the humans were ready. Every move had been calculated, every counterattack anticipated. When the next battle began, the galaxy would witness humanity's true power, unmatched, unstoppable, and inevitable. The battlefield was a graveyard. Alien fleets that had once boasted hundreds of ships now drifted in pieces. Smoke and debris floated across the void, the remnants of what had been mighty warships. Their command centers were in chaos, communications cut off, and morale shattered. Fear had replaced courage, confusion had replaced strategy, and hope had vanished. General Vrax, the veteran alien admiral, stared at the holoscreen in disbelief. His fleets, the pride of his empire, were failing. Ships he had trained crews for years to command were now drifting helplessly. Energy shields flickered weakly on the few remaining vessels, barely keeping them intact. "This cannot be, one ship cannot do this," he growled. But deep down he knew it was true. The Atlas carrier moved steadily forward, its massive hull dominating the battlefield. Automated strike pods and drones swarmed across the alien formations, disabling weapons, engines, and navigation systems with surgical precision. Each alien ship that attempted to fire was met with a counterstrike faster than their sensors could detect. Humans had not just fought the enemy, they had dismantled them piece by piece. Some alien ships tried to escape. Engines flared as they attempted to retreat toward the outer rim, but human drones anticipated every move. Swarms of cloaked drones intercepted them, striking before they could reach safety. Ships exploded silently in space, leaving survivors drifting among wreckage, unable to coordinate or flee further. The remaining alien command ships, desperate to salvage control, fired their heaviest weapons. Massive energy beams and missile barrages rained toward the Atlas carrier. But the humans were ready. Shields flared and absorbed the impact, while counterattacks destroyed entire clusters of alien ships. Railguns struck at weak points in the enemy hulls, tearing them apart in moments. Nothing the aliens tried could halt the humans' advance. On board the Atlas carrier, the crew moved like a single organism. Every weapon system, every drone, every strike pod operated in perfect coordination. Humans did not panic, did not hesitate. The alien fleets were powerful, but their tactics were predictable, and the humans had anticipated every maneuver. With intelligence, precision, and patience, they dismantled the enemy without losing a single ship. Inside alien command centers, officers were screaming in panic. "Fall back. Regroup," they shouted. But there was no hope. The humans had destroyed their communication networks, sabotaged key ships, and eliminated their leaders. Fleet cohesion had been shattered. Every order, every attempt at coordination failed. The aliens were fighting blind. From deep within the Atlas carrier, the human captain watched as alien fleets crumbled. "Let them see the futility of their resistance," she said calmly. "We do not need to destroy every ship. We only need to show them who holds control. Every drone, every strike, Every precision attack reinforced the humans' dominance. The remaining alien vessels, sensing defeat, began a full retreat. Engines flared as ships turned away, attempting to escape. But the humans did not relent. Cloaked drones and long-range torpedoes pursued them relentlessly, targeting command ships and crippling engines. Any hope of regrouping had vanished. By the time the aliens reached safer territory, the majority of their fleet had been destroyed. The battlefield fell silent. The remnants of the alien forces floated aimlessly, their ships damaged, their crews demoralized, their leaders humiliated. Humanity Prime had not only won the engagement, it had annihilated the enemy's ability to resist, at least for the foreseeable future. Even among the survivors, fear reigned. No alien commander dared challenge the humans again so soon. Stories of the Atlas carrier's precision, the devastating drones, and the unstoppable weapons spread across the galaxy. The humans had proven that intelligence, strategy, and superior technology could triumph over overwhelming numbers. On the Atlas carrier, the crew stood silently on the bridge, observing the battlefield. The captain spoke quietly to her officers. The enemy has seen our strength, our precision, and our resolve. They will think twice before facing humanity again. Today we have not just won a battle, we have set a standard no one in this galaxy can ignore. As the carrier glided through the debris of destroyed fleets, the humans prepared for the next step. Even as the aliens retreated, they would regroup, they would plan, and they might return stronger. But the humans were ready. Every maneuver had been calculated, every counterattack anticipated, and every strike executed with deadly precision. The silence of the galaxy returned, but it was different this time. It was the silence of dominance. Humanity Prime had proven its power. The Atlas carrier had become more than a ship. It was a symbol of intelligence, strategy, and unstoppable might. Across the stars, whispers of fear and awe spread. The aliens had learned a harsh lesson. Humanity was no longer to be underestimated. Suspense hook for Part 7. The aliens had been shattered, but the war was not yet over. Humanity Prime had proven its strength, but the final challenge loomed. A test that would show if humans could truly control the destiny of the galaxy. The last battle was coming, and it would decide everything. The battlefield was silent now, but it was not the calm of peace. It was the silence that follows total domination. Alien ships floated in ruin, their metal hulls torn apart, engines destroyed and weapons offline. Smoke and debris drifted across the void, remnants of what had once been mighty fleets. For the aliens, this was a defeat unlike any they had ever known. On board the Atlas carrier, the human crew moved with quiet precision. No celebration filled the bridge. This was not the time for joy. Every system was monitored, every sensor active, every drone ready. They had won the battle, but the humans knew that victory was just the beginning. The galaxy had witnessed the power of humanity, but there was more to come. The captain of the Atlas carrier looked out at the remnants of alien fleets. Her expression was calm but resolute. Today we've proven that humans can face any enemy, overcome impossible odds and prevail. But this is not the end. Humanity's journey has only begun. Across the galaxy, word of the battle spread. On distant planets, alien populations and governments were shaken to their core. For centuries, they had believed themselves to be the dominant species, the masters of warfare and technology. But one human ship had shattered that illusion. The Atlas carrier had become a symbol, proof that intelligence, strategy, and courage could triumph over sheer numbers. Alien generals, still recovering from the chaos, began to regroup in distant sectors. They sent urgent messages to their empires. Humans were no longer weak, primitive beings. They were a force capable of challenging entire fleets, and any future encounter would require careful planning, or certain defeat. Fear had taken root, a fear that would linger long after the battle. For the humans, the battlefield was a moment of reflection. Every drone, every strike pod, every torpedo had performed with flawless precision. It was a testament to human ingenuity, training, and resilience. What had once been considered a small, insignificant planet now commanded respect across the stars. Humanity Prime had risen, not through conquest alone, but through superior intelligence and strategy. As the Atlas carrier glided through space, the captain addressed her crew. We have shown the galaxy that humans do not yield. We fight not just for survival but for the right to shape our destiny. Today we have changed the course of history. The crew nodded in silent agreement. Each member knew they were part of something greater, a force that would leave a lasting mark on the universe. The alien fleets that survived fled toward distant sectors, their strength broken, their confidence shaken. Entire empires were forced to reconsider their strategies, alliances, and priorities. Humanity had proven that even the mightiest fleets could fall to a combination of skill, planning, and determination. And yet, amidst the victory, humans remained vigilant. They knew the galaxy would not remain passive. The aliens would return, stronger, more cautious, and possibly more dangerous. But the humans were ready. Every calculation, every strategy, and every technological advancement had been designed for this moment. Humanity had learned to fight smart, fight together, and fight without fear. The Atlas carrier continued its silent patrol, a massive silhouette against the backdrop of stars. Its engines pulsed gently, blue light reflecting across the deck. It was no longer just a warship. It was a statement, a warning, and a promise. Humanity Prime had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same again. In the aftermath, humans began to plan for the future. Every battle, every encounter, every victory became part of a growing legacy. Across the stars, humanity's name inspired both fear and respect. The Atlas carrier had shown that humans could face overwhelming odds and emerge victorious, and this victory would be remembered for generations to come. And far beyond the battlefield, in the quiet reaches of space, whispers of the next challenge began to circulate. The aliens would return. The war was not over. But humanity had proven one undeniable truth. No matter the threat, no matter the enemy, humans would rise, adapt, and overcome. The Atlas carrier had shown the galaxy that the future belonged to those who dared to fight, who dared to think, and who dared to be human. Final line/closing hook. The stars were calm again, but the galaxy had changed forever. Humanity Prime had arrived. The Atlas carrier had entered history. And from that day on, no one would ever doubt the power, intelligence, or resolve of humanity. The rise of humans had begun, and nothing would ever stop it.